She said something along the lines of, it was like a text, I think.
Yeah.
And she said something along the lines of like, oh my God, I can't believe this is who you are. Like, I've changed in front of you. we've had sleepovers before.
Wow.
That's so mean.
That's terrible.
And like, by the way, I'm not even into like feminine girls.
Yeah.
And even if I was into feminine girls, it wouldn't be her.
You tell her that. You want to say the name? No, I can't say that.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Two Mom Edit with Jamie and Lisa. This is episode number 5.
Episode number 5. We're doing it, babe.
Yeah, we're doing it. And we're so excited to start the next few episodes because we're officially kicking off Pride Month.
Yes, and as you can see, special edition Limitless slides for Pride Month. Check them out.
I do I actually
you gotta
these
show
a lot
them.
last year.
Proud.
So
LimitlessSlides.com.
Can you see them?
Affirmation footwear. Feel good, feel good. Let's go. Little plug for us. I
wore these every single Pride event last year.
I know you did. I love them.
And I got so many
compliments. Come out with them. We do only come out with them. I'm not trying to be salesy at all. I swear to God, we only come out with them for Pride Month. Yeah. That is the truth. And that's it. So scoop them up. But we're excited for Pride. Pride is like June is everything.
Yeah, it's like so funny, right? It feels like,
if you're gay, you know.
Yeah, and it feels like this month is really about us and our family.
True.
Right? And now that we have kids, I really feel like we really make it a point to make sure that our kids know this month is about people celebrating us and people like us and our family.
That's right.
And oh my gosh, I can't wait till later in the episode when we get to what we did last year because I can literally cry thinking about it.
I know. I see the tears coming in your
eyes. I'm already getting emotional.
I know.
Now that I'm pregnant too.
It's different. It's different because Pride Month has changed. I mean, we used to go to the city. If you're still doing that, we're definitely a little envious. And we used to go to all the events in the city, all the Pride events in New York City.
Yeah, we used to throw them.
We used to throw them at, yeah.
And but now it's different. Now it's about making sure that our kids feel like this is the month where they know that everyone around them makes them feel inclusive and celebrated and not just us, right? We really try to teach them celebrating all families. But anyway, look at us, just like last episode, already starting to get a little off topic.
That's right. But we're going to stay on track this time. Or maybe we're not going to stay on track. Let's see.
All right. So we are going to talk all about,
us
coming out and all that good stuff. Right?
The coming out.
Definitely a great way to kick off Pride Month.
That's right.
Let's say a little bit about what's going on in our lives. Oh, you want to give me a kiss?
Give me a kiss.
Okay. You know I'm not moving.
Like you need a little kissy kiss.
Right, thank you.
I love you.
Congratulations on episode number 5. No, it's matte lipstick today.
It won't be all stuck on me. But good, you add a little color. I haven't worn lipstick since prom.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Ready, girl.
Baby. Let's update on us though. Right now we're like 15 weeks pregnant.
Yes.
With our twins.
Yeah.
Our little girls. Did we ever see the girls' names on here before?
No.
Serafina and Sophia.
Yep. And Carmela doesn't like the name Serafina.
Oh my God. Before we get into the topic, which again, we're already getting off topic. It's fine. Right. We'll get back to it.
Right.
This is the funniest thing ever. Carmela has known since the very beginning that the twins' names were Serafina and Sophia. Our other 2 kids are Carmela and Francesco. Very Italian
names. That's right. Right. Yep.
And so for some reason, Carmela really does not like the name Serafina. And she keeps telling people that her sisters' names are going to be Sophia and Janet.
Janet.
Not that we have
Janet. So I like reality TV.
But
and on the Valley on Bravo. There's a Janet.
Oh, what does she look like?
Definitely not my cup of tea. Just a little
it's funny because where does a 5-year-old hear the name Janet right now? It's not even like a common name. Where did she?
Aunt Jan. Yeah. Aunt Jan that passed.
Yeah.
Maybe she was kind of like, me with like people that passed. Maybe she kind of like
you think
signaled something to Carmela, Janet.
Maybe.
She was our favorite aunt.
I didn't think about that, but we did want to name one of our kids after her, but we really couldn't find a way because I didn't want to name my kid Jan. Sorry, Aunt Jan.
I know. We love you, Aunt Jan. Memorial Weekend DJs, Belmar. All right, let's go.
You say that because we stayed at her house. See, remember when I said sometimes you say
that's true. That's true. Sorry
and
about
people
that.
Like, what are you talking about?
All right, let's get on track here.
All right, we'll get back on track.
Here we go.
All right, this is going to be a fun episode.
It's going to be fun. It's going to force us to think a lot about our past, too. I haven't thought about my coming out story in a very long time.
Me neither. Because to us, our life is so normal. We don't think about how we had to like jump through a few hoops to get here.
Right.
So
yeah, it's like so distant to me. So going back to the past and thinking about really how I felt when I was younger. It's going to be interesting. So
I agree.
Let's go.
All right, so let's hop to it.
I already put my cards down. Let me hold my cards.
See, it's okay. It's my job. I'll keep you on track. Even though last episode you kept me on track. Last episode we did say we were going to talk about law of attraction next. However, we decided to pivot because it's a kickoff to Pride. And we were like, law of attraction.
Law of attraction can wait. Pride's more important right now.
This is more important right now. We're super excited.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about when you came out.
Okay.
How old were you? How did you come out? And how did you feel?
Want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't think I ever really came out with like a big statement that I was gay. Should I talk about how I know, like when I knew how I?
Yeah, let's start first with how you knew, and then when you came out to your friends and family.
So I always felt different. I definitely was always a tomboy growing up, but I know that being a tomboy doesn't necessarily mean that you're gay. But I was really a big, big tomboy. And I now look back and realize the times that I realized, I knew I was gay. First was in 6th grade. I had a crush on my teacher at St. Teresa's School, who was
I've heard this before, but I was just wondering now, like, what did she look like? Was she young or old? Like, was she like an old lady?
She watches this.
But was she old?
No.
She like a 6-year-old teacher?
No. She was maybe like 30-something, early 30s.
All right.
Now, if I really think back, there was Miss Friedman.
Oh, gosh.
In 3rd grade, who wore like, girls, huh? Now that I'm older, I'm like, she wore like these skimpy dresses as a 3rd grade teacher at St. Teresa's School.
That's really
funny. And I didn't do things to impress her, which I did with Miss McCall, but I always was like intrigued by her. 3rd grade.
Wow.
6th grade, I always did things to get Mrs. McCall's attention. Like weird things, honestly, like just like a lot of times being bad. And just like,
well, that was your MO, your whole entire
childhood. And in our relationship too. So I was just getting her attention. Exactly. Any attention was great for me as a child. And I didn't know anything of it, but then I had boyfriends, long-term relationships. 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, I had a serious boyfriend. And then in high school, I had a boyfriend too. And great guys, but I just always was not mentally stimulated. And I just kind of felt like, I got this great boyfriend. And I kind of treated them, honestly, like I was like a little bit of a bitch, honestly. I was like bigger than them. And so, like, not that they were whipped, but they kind of, they kind of like, that was the joke. Like, oh, at least the boyfriend's whipped. Like, honestly, if my friends are watching, they know this.
That was such a common term, right? When we were younger. And now when you say it, though, doesn't it sound like horrible?
It sounds horrible.
It sounds like so dirty and like
not for a woman to a man, honestly. So I'll take it.
Oh, my God.
But anyway, no. So fast forward, I had a best friend in high school. And I realized that I was basically in love with her, falling in love with her.
So now like you're freshman, sophomore?
I was a freshman, sophomore.
Okay.
And I hated the fact that she had a boyfriend. I would do things to like try to get her jealous, but I want to spend all my time with her. And every little thing that she did, I remember thinking like, oh my God, does this mean something bigger? And I was such a tormented high schooler, to be honest. Like my diaries were just like, I was so lost. And I didn't like the fact that I liked her. And I didn't like my aunt's gay. I was very uncomfortable if she took me around her lesbian friends. I was like anti-gay, but I knew that there was something in me that was in love with this girl, what I thought love was then. But actually, no, I was in love at that age, And then as I got older, it was kind of like getting fun to make out with like girls at parties. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to make out, the boys are there, truthfully. And then I was still kind of not out. And then but I was starting to like get comfortable with it my senior year. And I was starting to embrace like, I like making out with girls at parties, but I was using it as an excuse, like we were all just partying, and it was like the fun thing to do with the boys around. It sounds terrible, but it's the truth.
I had a little bit of that too now that I think about it. It was like cool.
It was cool, but I really liked it. And I was like, but the girl that I would make out with would be like, oh, that was fun. But me, I'd be like, oh, wow. I really liked that. I really liked her. I wonder if she's going to pay attention to me tomorrow. And then fast forward, college. I played college softball, and I had a relationship, and I just came full-fledged out in college. I had the rainbows everywhere, but I didn't necessarily come out to my mom. but she saw rainbow stuff.
Which is funny because your mom's sister is a lesbian.
And my uncle that passed.
And your uncle, who's her brother, was gay out. And so for you not to feel comfortable to come out to her right away is interesting.
I just didn't like that part about myself, and I didn't know how to make it real by saying it to the most important person in my life, which is my mom. So I was living this life of being like out and proud and gay, rainbows all over me.
Yeah, the rainbow bandana was very in for you.
Yeah. And then in front of her, I hid it. And then how she knew was I was in a long-term relationship with this girl, Katie, in college.
I love this story.
And we broke up. And I was sick, the breakup. Sick. And I had to be on for college softball. Yeah, exactly. I was tormented. Oh my gosh. And I called her hysterical and I said, me and Katie aren't together anymore, but she never knew anything about Katie before. And she said, all right, Mommy, I'll come right up there. And she drove to my college and she took me shopping for shoes at Macy's. I don't know why shoes, but I'll never forget that. And then she brought me this poster of this girl jumping out of a birthday cake to go in the back of my fucking dorm room.
That's the best.
Dude, like my mom's like.
She knew, of course, but your mom is the best.
Yeah.
That's
I get
so
emotional
cute.
thinking about it. So that's my coming out story. I definitely wasn't comfortable with myself for a very long time.
Yeah. And it was just like immediately you knew she accepted you, which was really amazing.
I did.
That's such an amazing feeling.
What was your coming out story?
Well, different than yours.
Okay. I know it, but I want to, because something about being in this space like allows for me to go more. So I want to hear your
So growing up, I didn't have any gay family members like you did.
Right.
At least when I was really little. At some point when I was in high school, I had a cousin who came out. But when I was younger, definitely was not exposed to it at all. However, my family was a big cheerleading family, and me and my sisters were all cheerleaders. My mom was the coach.
Serious cheerleaders, Staten Island cheerleaders. Very serious there.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
So my mom was out one night and we had a babysitter. And I remember the babysitter was like, I don't know, maybe with my sisters or like doing something else. And I couldn't sleep. So I was laying on the couch watching TV. And I was in 3rd grade and I was flipping through the channels and I see the movie.
Oh my God.
But I'm a cheerleader.
But I'm a cheerleader.
Oh my God, it's a cheerleading movie. How exciting.
Best movie ever.
If you've seen the movie,
you have to watch it.
You should watch that. I'm so curious to
I want to watch it because it's probably so like politically incorrect now. Really, but it's comedy.
That's
I know, but it's fucking awesome.
I want to watch it tonight.
Let's do it.
We could find it, I'm sure.
But I'm a cheerleader. If you're a lesbian,
now I'm like
you have to know, but I'm a cheerleader.
Now I'm like 9 years old, and I'm like thinking it's going to be a cheerleading movie, so I start to watch it.
Thinking it's going to be a cheerleader
And then the longer I watched it, I ended up watching like the entire thing. And do you want to like just explain what the movie was about?
It's about... And there's places like this that exist, which makes me sick.
I know.
It's about this girl who is gay, or her family realizes that she likes girls or thinks she likes girls, and they send her to this twisted straight camp.
Yeah, it was like a religious camp, right?
All the guys in their shorts.
But then they ended up like everyone in the camp like ended up like staying gay, and then they all tried to sneak out. It's just like crazy. I just have this very. My family doesn't know this story for sure. They're gonna watch this and be like, "Oh, wow, really?" My mom definitely never heard the story. I don't think my sisters have either.
And I saw that movie too, and let's watch it together because
I remember like seeing the girl kiss a girl, and I remember being like, "Well, I don't think
it looked so good."
I just remember thinking like, but I don't think that's weird at all. Like, why do people think this is weird? Why does she have to go to this camp? And I was only 9, and I remember like having those thoughts, just like, well, how do I know if I'm gay? I think that's normal.
Right.
That's it. It was as simple as that. Just like, that's not weird. Okay, how do I know if that's me? Anyway, so flash forward a gazillion years, I never like really thought about it again. Again, I like wasn't exposed to anybody gay in my life.
So you watched it and then that was it. You just never popped in your head. It was just
really
normal to you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And I just thought like, how do I know if that's me or not? And that's it. Flash forward, now I'm like in 7th grade, 8th grade. Started to get into like dating guys, just like silliness the way you do in 7th and 8th grade, like right in middle school.
Yeah.
Then I go to high school and I went to an all-girls school.
Oh,
so
boy.
there were like definitely tons of lesbians. So it wasn't really
There were tons of lesbians. See, the all-girls school that we have now where we live, that's like, I don't think it's like that.
You think so?
I don't think, just by like what I hear, like,
I want to find out.
Yeah, I don't think it's
I wouldn't say like half the school, but I would say there was like a good amount that it was like more of a common thing. And again, like I never had an issue with it. I wasn't immediately like, oh, I wasn't like slowly starting to think about it. Like, oh, I think I'm a lesbian too. It was just like, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was dating guys definitely freshman year. Sophomore year, my best friend at the time started dating a girl. And again, I just remember feeling like very curious. Like, well, I think I would like that too. Like, maybe I should do that. Like,
I know the girl? Do I know the friend?
Yeah, Christina.
Wow. It was Christina that okay.
Yeah, so she started dating this girl, Danielle.
Okay.
And me, the three of us like hung out all the time because Christina was like my best friend at the time. And at some point, my mom kept being like,
so you knew something was up.
Yeah, like I don't know at what point she started questioning things, but then she started like asking me if like I was gay too. I don't know how she really worded it because I don't think my mom was that comfortable to say the word gay.
What was Danielle's look? Was she more like boyish?
Yes.
Okay.
And so that was, I think,
so that was the red. That was like, oh my gosh, to your mom.
And then eventually she knew that they were dating. I was like, always as a child,
boyish,
always in middle school, high school, I was very like, this is who I am. If you don't like it, I don't really care.
Yeah.
To everybody, not just my family. I mean, like to anybody,
right.
Friends, whatever. Like, if you don't like who I'm hanging out with, what I'm doing, who I am, I don't really give a shit. Like, I've always had that sort of attitude, even when I was like very young. And I feel like I'm still kind of like that.
Love that about you.
If you don't like who we are and who my family is, oh well.
Yeah. We're both like that now. Yeah.
So then at some point, my curiosity spun into like a little bit more. I did start talking to like another girl that I met.
How?
Like, she was just like a friend of a friend, but I was like a sophomore at the time, and she had went to the same high school as me, already graduated at that point.
Okay.
So she was a little bit older, which even makes it more, I think, difficult for like.
Oh, this one? I thought it was the other one.
Yeah.
I thought it was the one. The first was
not the one that was 15 years older than me, but she was still like 5 years older than me.
15 years.
We'll get to that.
Any parent would have a hard time.
So go back to this one though, because she was still like 4 or 5.
Terrible.
She was still like 4 or 5 years older than me, right? So I was only like 15.
You gave your mom a run for money with these ages, though. You couldn't just
God forbid
the
my
blow.
kids. I hope to God my kids never do that.
Okay, let's just don't plant that thought.
This story.
Okay,
So
it's
then,
a good story.
Okay, so then we like started dating, but now at this point, because my mom kept questioning me so much, but not such a comforting way. Like, hey, if this is who you are, like I'm here for you. It was like, are you doing this? Don't lie to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I like hid it, of course, the fact that we started having a relationship. And then one day my mom found like one on my Facebook, my MySpace. Yep. That's what was popular at the time. And she read like messages, and it was very clear that it was a relationship and we weren't just friends.
Right.
And so she immediately like put all everything together. Like it confirmed what she was already thinking.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy for either of us.
Right.
And it, just because of my personality, I think we already like butt heads compared to my 3 sisters.
Right.
Right. And so then when that happened, it like just wasn't really a great time in our family for me.
Yeah.
But then eventually...
Well, how did your sisters take it? And
they were fine. I think they also weren't expecting.
Jamie's parents are divorced from when she's very young.
Yeah, my sisters were fine with it, but I think they also like assumed everyone kind of knew that I was
they're all about the same age as you, so
they all
like
kind of figured it out, right? So I was like being secretive, but it was like pretty obvious. My mom, I think, also knew, but like seeing the messages confirmed it. And as a parent, I could see that being hard.
Yes,
of course, I could see that being hard.
How was it with your dad?
Even as us being
did you come out to your dad? Like
no, so my mom told my dad, who by the way at the time now they have a great relationship. When I was younger and like the divorce was a little bit newer,
God,
they didn't have a great relationship. And then for my mom to like call my dad and be like,
that's the only time she ever called him, unless you had to go to court.
And I remember my dad like came to my house, and I was like so embarrassed. I had to walk into his car.
Yeah, you feel that.
He called me and told me to come out. I felt shame.
Yeah,
more so because I got like caught lying. I think not necessarily because I was dating a girl. Because really, I really
was like secretive.
It was
lying,
like secretive lying,
and, like you have another life,
and I got like caught,
and also coming out with a big part of yourself that is true.
So I remember my dad. Like I walked in the car, I sat down, and he was just like. So silent, basically.
He's such a bear.
I know, except he basically said something. I don't remember verbatim, but it was something like, I love you, right?
Oh,
like I love you no matter what.
I'm gonna cry.
Which is like so sweet. And my sisters, I don't remember like very exact conversations, but I do remember it being like fine.
Yeah, I don't think they cared. Yeah.
So then like flash forward, I definitely gave my parents a run for their money because then eventually I started dating a girl that was like 15
don't
years
even
older
say
than me when I was like a senior in high school, which is like insane.
Now you see that?
Well, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Imagine I, as a 34-year-old, was dating somebody that was 19.
I would beat your, even if I didn't know
I would beat my own ass. That is horrible and should not be allowed. It isn't allowed, actually.
I know.
Oh, it is.
That is not okay.
18.
Anybody watching, that is not okay.
No, I mean, that's like a mother.
So Jamie's mom then, like.
So I think at some point, she ended up like being accepting of that relationship, but made it clear.
But how accepting?
Accepting enough that like she met the person, had some conversation with the person. My dad too. She came to family parties and whatever. My dad even helped her move into.
All right, you don't have to tell me all this now, okay? I don't want. You could stop
were
right there
at that point. However, I don't even know how because I don't think I'd be able to.
No. That's
crazy.
Knock on wood.
So then, anyway, at all these years though. Right? So now like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 6 years. For these 6 years, I had a few different relationships. And I think throughout that whole time, my mom, from what I remember, was very much like, I think it's just a phase. She had friends that were doing this, did it too. I
have a question.
I think eventually it will fade out.
Did she not think it was real because you're feminine?
I'm not sure.
Well, we got to have Deneen on next.
I think that's a good idea.
I would love to know like just that perspective and also like how she came around and all of that, but I don't know, maybe because you were feminine. For me, it was, listen, for me, I was wearing bandanas.
Your mom definitely knew before you.
If you're more my vibe and you're watching this, you know what's up.
My mom was never really exposed to anything like that. And she comes from like an old school family, just like a lot of people. And so I think when it's brand new to you, you're like, I don't even know what this means. So anyway.
She accepted you at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, I started dating you.
Oh, yeah.
And
she was a fan of A Shot at Love.
And I think that they knew you were on the show. They thought that was like cool.
Oh, when I first met everybody, heart attack. Okay.
We'll get to that story another day.
Okay.
But I think we actually might have said that story maybe in the first episode. Did we?
I don't know. I don't know. Okay.
But so after like kind of an uphill battle for a few years, eventually I started dating you. And ever since then, it was totally fine. And now
I was a fan favorite.
And now my mom, I think, would do anything to help protect our family. And she's a huge advocate.
Such an advocate.
We've had pride events where she's like made signs, made shirts. Like she is so proud of all of her kids.
Yeah. She's amazing.
But doesn't treat us any differently than
no, if anything, she posts more about us, She posts on Facebook. So all the pride events and all this.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's really beautiful.
And that was really ever since I dated you.
But that was a struggle when you first came out.
I think when we first started dating, I think she just realized like, I don't think this is a phase. I think that's what happened. We have to ask her, but I think that's what happened. In a good way, though. And I think it took her a slow way to start to fully accept it, which is fine.
The fact that she even came around and there's so many kids across this country.
I know.
Breaks my heart that
never get around to that point.
And lose relationships with their family and get kicked out. And people that give you life throw you to the curb because of who you love. It just kills me, that thought.
So sad.
I could cry thinking about it.
I know, it's so sad.
And that is a big reason
we are extremely blessed that we have supportive families.
This is also a big reason why we started this podcast too, to like give hope. I don't know. I always say like that one, like on the way here, like that one girl in Kentucky. I don't know why I picture this girl.
Because you just think the middle of the country where they have no access to anything.
I hope that they see, and there's definitely a lot of hate in many parts of the country that don't like gay people. So, I hope that they see this and they're inspired, that there's
unfortunately, especially now, people feel very empowered to just
share that hate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're here to be the opposite. Come out loud and proud for Pride Month, baby.
Wow.
Life is really beautiful. Trust me.
So were you surprised with the support that you had?
Yeah, my sister and brother, our family, our childhood was so like dysfunctional, but my mom's like amazing. So everybody was just kind of doing their own thing. My brother didn't give a shit. My sister actually, she True Colors by Cyndi Lauper. She dedicated that song to me as her way of saying, so anytime that song comes on, it's a special thing between me and her. My brother, he was partying.
He didn't care. Well, what about your friends? Were any of your friends like
my friends knew?
Did you get
my best friends from high school?
From your friends?
No, Lauren, Jessica, Jocelyn, Andrea. They always knew. They were super supportive, and they were always like my rock. Felt very comfortable.
I did have one friend that gave me a really negative response, and it was really hurtful.
Were you friends with her for a long time before?
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Like a long time since we were, I don't know, probably 6.
That's fucked up because when it's coming
probably
from
like
your
6th
friend,
grade.
You feel like,
you know what she said?
Shit.
She said something along the lines of, it was like a text, I think.
Yeah.
And she said something along the lines of like, oh my God, I can't believe this is who you are. Like, I've changed in front of you. We've had sleepovers before.
Wow.
That's so mean.
That's terrible.
And like, by the way, I'm not even into like feminine girls.
Yeah.
And even if I was into feminine girls, it wouldn't be her.
You tell her that. You want to say the name? No, I can't say that. She hopefully has grown since then, but that's really hard, especially when your friend
20 years ago
says that to you.
That's still hurtful. I didn't really have a lot of experiences like that, but I'm still grateful.
I didn't know that story.
Yeah.
You know?
Isn't that mean?
How'd you take that? Did you sit with that sad. Or were you?
Oh, yeah.
You probably more hurt from that where you can't help when somebody's, no matter how strong you are. Now, when you're a teenager. Now, somebody says anything, I'm like, give a shit. You know, we're very like proud and we have a beautiful life. And we know that. We like who we are. But being 16 and hearing that from a friend.
Hurtful.
Doesn't it matter how strong you are? That could literally make you feel so like gross and shame and different and low. And kids could be vicious, you know? So that's why we got to just raise our kids.
I feel like kids are even worse now.
Yeah, we got to raise our kids to be extremely strong.
Yeah.
But also let them know that if that did happen, they come to us right away.
At that point, I definitely wouldn't have felt comfortable to talk to anybody really.
At least they come to us and then we give a good comeback.
I don't think I told anybody that, like ever. We were talking about how we came out when we initially came out, but when we got older.
Yeah.
So I kind of like from that point, I think this stemmed from like me kind of proving to my family, like I'm not in a phase. This is who I am. Deal with it and love me for who I am. And it worked. But then as I got older, I always maintained that. Every job, every person I met, anyone, it didn't matter where I was. I was very much so, I'm Jamie, this is my girlfriend, or I'm Jamie, this is my fiance, Lisa. Whenever somebody would say like, oh, I see you're engaged. What's your fiance's name? Where is he from?
Oh, I hate that he right away. I would automatically
be like, oh, my wife's name is actually Lisa, and she blah, blah, blah.
Right,
and I made it a very normal response. I was always confident with it.
Oh, okay.
My point is that you weren't, and I wanted to kind of spark that conversation. Like, how did you go from not... Remember, maybe you can go back why and say why you didn't feel comfortable telling, like, let's say your clients at work or people from your business, why you weren't comfortable talking about it. And then how did you get comfortable with it? Because it took I remember we were like basically married. And that was when you started to tell people that were strangers or at work or clients, like, oh yeah, my wife, blah, blah, blah. But when we were engaged, you didn't openly say that. And that did bother me a little bit, but I knew you would come around. But why don't you talk a little bit about how were you able to get comfortable?
Wow, you're bringing me right back, man. Well, I graduated college softball. I'll say it quickly. And I worked a million jobs. Got a place on my own. One of those jobs, I wanted to give softball lessons. And I gave softball lessons outside for 4 years. And I never told my clients anything. I couldn't afford, because I had to take care of myself, I couldn't afford to lose a client. And I wanted them to like me and da-da-da. So then I opened my first facility, softball only training facility, when I was 27. And before that, I went on a shot at love with Tila Tequila. Let me go back. Actually, I went on a shot at love with Tila. It was right before this too. A shot at love with Tila Tequila. And it wasn't how I acted on the show because I was just winning all the competitions and all that. But it was the fact that I was gay on TV. I do the show, I come back, show airs, and nobody wanted to work with me. And I got nasty messages from my former client's parents. I'll never forget this one motherfucker, Ralph. He texted my pay-as-you-go phone because I was trying to look like a real business. And he said, I can't believe I left you alone with my daughter. And I was sick. And I drove to my mom's house and I sat in the driveway. It was a flip phone. And I walked in and I told her, and I started just hysterically crying because now it's like an adult of a stranger that you just helped his daughter. I am the best softball coach, I feel. And
that's so upsetting.
I got this kid so far emotionally, confident wise, and motherfucker and my mom saw me crying. She's like, you stick with this. It's the only thing that you've ever loved and lit you up. And it has since my childhood. And and that shame stood with me and I did stick with it. I now own one of the largest, very well-known softball training companies.
That is just so upsetting.
But it was because my mom that I stood with it, and I'll never forget that motherfucker. I'll never forget how he shamed and talked to me like that.
Right.
And his daughter lost out in working with me.
Right,
exactly. I could have took her to the next level.
So then from there, it kind of scarred you, right?
And you didn't want
100%. You were so scared that was going to happen again.
And then in true our relationship fashion, what's the way to tell everybody? Lisa, you want to go and say yes to the dress?
Oh yeah, you're right. That
was the only way. I was taking a bath. You were in the apartment bathroom. There was something. You're like, oh, I think we could be on to say yes to the dress. I'm like, I don't know. And then I'll never forget. I'm like, you know what?
Right.
I don't want anybody at my business that doesn't fucking accept me. Fuck that. And I know, and that is what made me
I think
strong.
At that point, your business was like having a little bit more success.
It was having a little more success, but not what it is. Like,
not what it is now.
Struggling. You know, I was still at the first facility in a basement. Yeah. Every dollar counted. Still does count.
Right.
You know? But yeah.
I guess you just got more comfortable with yourself.
I got more comfortable. Yeah. And then we went on national television and
I did it. And then from there.
And from there, I got a lot of good feedback. And good or bad, I don't hang on feedback. Good comments, bad comments, I don't
like
when
I meet somebody, I just make it no big deal.
Now I do.
So that people don't make it a big deal.
Now I do. Like yesterday, I went to that local gas station that looks like a farmhouse in town.
Yeah.
And the girl behind the counter, she had a little baby with her the first time. Yesterday, I went with Carmela because we needed some jugs of water for something, right? And I walked in and I go, I got my baby with me today. And she speaks broken English. I was like, she's going to understand that, like, how do I say this? And she goes, oh, is this your one baby? I said, well, I have one at home. And then I had to say, and I have twins on the way. But then she looks at my stomach, right? And sure enough, I'm like, yeah, my wife carries the twins, and I said it, no big deal. And I felt like I kind of just dropped enough to get her to maybe be curious, open her mind, because I always lead with kindness. I'm very kind to her every time I see her. She feels like she knows me. I always talk to her. And now, hey, she knows a gay person that's having 2 kids. So I did that yesterday.
It's great.
Yeah.
And it's good for Carmela.
It's good. Yeah. Now I don't give a shit at all. Now, obviously, we're doing this podcast. Like, and we're throwing pride parties for children. So we've come a long way. And hope that we inspire
That's great.
others.
Well, I'm happy that you're much more comfortable with yourself now.
You too. You always kind of didn't care.
I never cared.
But what if you have a client that doesn't understand traditionally?
Care. Oh, well, I cannot lie. There was one client recently within the last few months that I, for the first time, literally probably ever.
I know. And
that I omitted the truth mostly because he was like, okay, this is a real estate client that I was showing houses to. And he was just like,
would drop a dirty joke here and there.
Exactly.
Terrible.
And his dirty jokes that I had to deal with already. I'm like, if he knows that I have a wife, he will make even more disgusting jokes.
But what I do with you on that one time, I went with you.
One time he needed your help for something and he met you and I just like, oh, this is my mom friend in town. I've never lied ever about our relationship. Right. I literally only lied because I was like, he's going to think disgusting thoughts. Yeah. And I'm like, literally.
Yeah.
But that's it.
But I think a lot of other couples.
But anytime.
2-mom couples know exactly what we're talking about, exactly what we deal with.
Strangers or not strangers, if I see people and they're like, oh, your kid's so cute. She doesn't really look like you. Does she look like her dad? And I'm like, no, but she really looks like her mom.
Great.
No, but she really looks like my wife. They have the same exact face, whatever.
That's right.
There's nothing better than like we'll be in the supermarket or something, especially when they were like babies. Like Carmela used to do this a lot. She would be like in the supermarket and it'd be like checking out. Sometimes you're there for like 15 minutes and they get bored by the end of a full food shopping. And she'd be like crying, I want mommy. And I'm like checking out, and
I think you kidnapped this child.
And they have like blonde hair, our kids, blonde hair.
Not Francesco.
No, but Carmela has blonde hair and she's screaming for mommy. And if you guys know, Carmela calls Lisa mommy and they call me mama. And so I'm like literally looking at the checkout person. I'm like, this is so embarrassing. They think I'm the nanny.
And that you're like the
And I can't even like discipline them because then I'm like, they think now the nanny is disciplining.
Nasty,
this actually happens to me often.
Right, because you're like, put that 400th toy that you have in your hand.
If you don't stop doing that, I'm going to call mommy. And then people probably think that I'm the nanny saying like.
That's why.
Disciplining them and saying I'm going to call her mom.
Yeah, don't be putting it on me though. I don't want to discipline her.
Oh, I do that sometimes.
You better not. Me, really? I guess, she's a little more nervous around me with stuff like that.
I don't think so. I don't know why I do that.
All right. Maybe I just want to tell myself
Well, anyway. Okay. So going back after everything you went through and realizing now, oh my God, I think I just felt the baby move.
Really?
That was cool.
Wow. I want to come over and reach, but I don't want to like mess it all up.
But it was like, oh my God.
And even last night too.
I only ever felt it at night laying on my side. That was the first time that I'm going to cry.
That's it, babe. They're here with us.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
So if you can go
and
back,
we're doing the right thing. That's what that means, you know.
So everything that you've learned, if you can go back, and what would you say to your younger self?
Oh, man. I would say to be easier on myself because I really was a whacked out, tough, mentally really insecure teenager, child, which is why I do what I do today for a living.
Yeah.
And I would just say, be kind to yourself a little bit more. Just be easy. Try to like yourself. Just try to like yourself. I'm getting emotional because I'm thinking about myself and even how I looked when I was like a teenager. What about you?
I think I would probably, even though I didn't have a horrible experience coming out like a lot of other people do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I still struggled for a few years with feeling like I had to prove myself.
Right.
And I wish I can just tell myself like, you will end up on top and like your family will be so supportive and you will be in a happy marriage, in a regular family. You'll have kids, you'll have a spouse, and you'll live a beautiful life. Right. And I wish I could just say family. Yeah, everything is fine. Just ride the wave, you know?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
All right, so like to wrap up our little first edition of Kickoff of Pride Month.
Kickoff of Pride Month.
We're going to do a little like rapid fire Pride favorites, okay?
Rapid fire.
All right, who was your favorite queer icon or couple growing up?
Well, we didn't have many.
Right.
So I guess I liked Melissa Etheridge when I started realizing that I had something going on with it.
We went to her concert a few years ago.
Yes, we did. And I also went to her concert when I was 16 in Albany with the girl that I had the crush on. So I thought that it would make her gay.
You thought it was a sign?
No, I thought maybe if she comes, she sees other lesbians, she's going to like me.
You know, when we went to her concert, when I was pregnant with Carmela, so it must have been 5 years ago.
So sad how
there was a lot of lesbians there. Remember that?
Nothing like an old school lesbian.
I don't really think I had a favorite one. I don't really feel like there was a lot of representation. I didn't even know who Melissa Etheridge was when I was a kid. So
you like the girl from But I'm a Cheerleader. Like there was only Ellen.
Right. I was going to say maybe Ellen. She's the only person that, and I remember for a long time, we'd be like, you know what? If we're going to have kids, we just have to like be super successful because then our kids will, because everybody likes Ellen, even people that are like so homophobic, they still like Ellen because she's successful and she's funny. So we were like, well, we just have to be successful. That's it.
But now that people are saying that she's the terror behind the scenes, now they really hate her.
I have another question because we're going to have to wrap this up.
Okay.
What is the first moment you saw yourself represented in media?
Ooh, when I did A Shot at Love by myself on TV.
Yeah, because we were never represented. There's
no representation.
You know what my answer is?
There's still not. You'll get like Queer Ultimatum on Netflix. That's great. What other lesbian things are there?
When we went to Say Yes to the Dress, that was when I felt myself represented. Because I don't remember ever seeing a femme gay girl on TV.
Sports though too, like, women's soccer team, women's basketball,
Like for you, not for me.
But I'm not really like, I don't know, I'm not really like a diehard sports fan, to be honest with you. So
yes. All right, this is a good one. This is the last question. Okay.
I'm not a diehard sports fan. I just realized I said, but I love softball. Let's fix that.
You know what? You don't really like to watch sports.
I don't watch it because I feel like I'm
Even
working.
if I'm like, hey, you want to go to a Yankee?
I'll critique, like, she's going to load about it. She's going to finish your swing net,
like, you're like, not really.
No, because I'm going to critique the swings and then want to bring it.
All right, here's the last question. Your dream Pride celebration with and without kids.
Okay. With kids is what we did last year in town.
Say it as a really quick story because we have to wrap it up, but I love that
my beautiful wife reached out to our awesome friends in town and said, I really want to do a Pride party for kids.
And we have literally the most amazing families.
And everybody took a job on. Jen did this, Taylor did this, Melanie did this.
Melanie and Kimmy. You can't leave anybody out. You gotta say them all.
They did a lot. So we got the DJ, we got the firehouse, First one in town. That was a very
in our county in New Jersey, we live in Bergen County, there is a lot of towns that do a flag raising, and then they'll like combine it with a pride celebration. Usually when they do the flag raising.
Yeah, but some towns got rid of that recently with everything going on.
Some towns never did it at all in the first place. So our town is one of those towns that did not do it in the first place. And because we have kids that are older now, and now Carmela was in pre-K4 last year, she understood. I really wanted to make sure she felt like her friends accepted her and celebrated her, and that everybody kind of was exposed to like what Pride Month is. Mm-hmm. And so our amazing friends helped us put a celebration together. We did it in like 3 weeks. Up in our firehouse, there's like an upstairs room that's kind of like a VFW type of hall. Mm-hmm. We had a DJ. We decorated the entire thing. And we had like 50 kids come with their moms and or dads. And
none of the kids cared at all.
I'm literally going to cry again because I'm thinking, remember when...
And I want to keep that going. Do you remember
Charlie and one other kid, I can't remember, brought me a picture of our family? They drew a picture and a little pride picture.
I don't remember that. I just remember them all being super supportive and like holding like little
all the little boys flags. And girls had little pride flags.
I said, I'm going to pull this out with their 18-year-old like guys. Oh my God. We're trying to build that. We're trying to really build. So what we did for our kids, beautiful, beautiful. We're blessed.
We are trying to put it together again this year. However, my pregnancy is taking over my brain right now, and it's really hard. And our friends, actually, I didn't even bring it up.
They brought it up.
Like, it's almost Pride Month. What are we doing?
And I'm like, so we're still trying to get it together. Too much going on.
It's so important to me because I love this. However, we might just have a big, huge party at our house for all of our friends this year instead. So it's still for our kids, but it is important to me that we get our town on board. I just, again, haven't had like the mindset for it this year. So we'll get maybe to that next year. This year, I think we'll just do a huge pride party.
We also know for our viewers that aren't in areas that are accepting like this or at all, we know that this seems like such a distant dream to you.
So true.
But it is worth looking to relocate your family. And 100%. If you ever want to relocate your family, please DM us and reach out to us, because life doesn't have to be where you're living right now.
So
it could be really beautiful. We're sure we're going to face some things as we get older, but we're building such a good foundation. Every day is work, though. Every day is work. But when we joined the town, remember, we were like, this was a pretty tight town. We got ourselves in every group. We made ourselves known. That's next episode. We put a lot of effort in as that couple. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's my kid thing.
With
yours
kids.
Too.
Also, I just want to say one more thing. Our state does one they have pride celebrations in every town, but they also do one big one in Asbury Park. Yeah. And we brought our kids a few years ago. No, I was pregnant with Francesco, and
she had the rainbow bathing
suit. And we brought Carmela, and we went with some of our friends, and it was one of the most amazing days.
Please consider moving if you're don't be comfortable.
Life shouldn't be that hard.
No, life could be good. Trust me. Reach out. We're really passionate about that. Our ultimate pride party.
Oh, I wish I could do it this year.
Ours. Just going to the city. I love a good club still.
Literally any pride event.
Anything, I know.
Because every pride event is always so
imagine you're on Fire Island for Pride. We never did that.
Well, we're going to be in Fire Island for
soon. Yeah.
We're going in a few weeks.
Anyway, and we'll do anything. So, yeah.
Yeah, my dream celebration is literally just what every pride event is in the city or in Jersey. Going to Asbury, they're all so different, right? Because the city, you go to like clubs or day bars.
We got to keep it going. I just read somewhere that like Pepsi and 2 other big brands aren't doing Pride this year, so that we're going backwards. We're starting to go backwards.
Very sad.
It's a good time for us to come in and do this.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
anyway, I love you. This was a good episode.
Yeah,
for real.
Happy kickoff to Pride Month.
That's right.
I'm so excited. I love this time of year.
Me too.
And it's like our kickoff to summer.
And it's my birthday.
It's your birthday.
That's right.
That's why we're going
to
Fire Island. It's going to be so fun.
That's right.
Playing a few trips this summer, right? We're going to go, me and you, we're going to go to Fire Island. Mm-hmm. Then we're bringing the kids to Ogunquit, Maine, which is another super friendly, gay-friendly town. It's amazing. If you are a gay family, it's a place to check out.
I love doing it.
Even if you're straight, it's just a beautiful beach town in Maine. Mm-hmm. But so gay-friendly. And then we're planning to go to Disney in July. Yes, while I'm like super pregnant with twins, we're going to be at Disney. Then we're going to meet our family, probably in St. Pete's. And then maybe in August we'll go to Maine again. But we definitely need one more other trip, just the 2 of us, before the twins come.
I really would like that.
Yeah.
All right, babe.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This was so much fun. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the 2 Mom Edit.
Yep.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you could always find us streaming on all of your platforms. You don't just need to watch us. You can listen to us in the car, while you're driving, while you're getting ready for the day, on whatever you like to stream your podcast on.
And we have to get better at saying, turn on notifications, follow our...
I'm not good at this stuff. I'm looking for it. I was waiting for you to fill in the channel.
Turn on notifications, comment, and just support. That's it.
Please send this podcast to anybody you think that might be helpful. We're going to definitely be going to a lot of Pride celebrations, both local and a little bit further away, trying to spread the word because we really do care about making people feel a connection. And that really means a lot to us. So if you think that you know somebody that might enjoy this, please send it to them.
Please do.
See you on the next episode.
Ciao.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao.